I also didn't know like what size you are. Obviously small. Duh. So,
Thank you.
sort of
Put an
realized
X
that.
before, okay? Extra small.
Yeah.
No one likes skinny. Like, no one wants a skinny baby. No one wants a skinny animal.
Or go.
Exactly.
Jesus
And
Christ.
don't worry, guys. I had a C-section, so everything's pristine down there.
Wow. Jesus.
They deserve it with no lube.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Anyway.
My sarcasm and my comedy is not going to be the same as other people's, and there's certain lines that I shouldn't cross, and I cross those lines.
Well, it looks like TikTok's most insufferable toxic boy mom found herself in another controversy, and her response to all of the backlash will actually make you mad. Avery Woods is one of these clout goblin mommy influencers who rose to fame by exploiting her children. She gained 2.5 million followers on TikTok by following her toddler around and doing these vulgar voiceovers on a toddler vlog. Now, a lot of the time, it seemed like she would intentionally dress her daughter up in these suggestive outfits while zooming up on her in these videos and doing these absolutely vulgar voiceovers.
I'm sure you can tell, but my mom got me a new dance outfit, and I love it because my little gut hangs over my tutu. It's really fucking cute. Tap, 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 tap. Follow directions because I'm a really fucking good listener. Holy shit, what's that up there? You have no idea how much fucking strength it took to get my sweet nectar out of this baba. I hope you internet trolls are happy now because I'm fucking miserable. Just kidding, I was just giving my mom shit because when she checked on me a little bit later in my crib, I sucked this thing dry.
So it kind of begs the question, what kind of audience was she trying to attract by posting this type of content? Most of these videos would gain her millions of views, and I'm talking like over 30 million of views. And as her audience grew, she started slowly changing her content and started showing people her, more realistic side.
And not only do I not care if you think I'm a bitch, I hugely prefer it.
I cannot tell you how much it actually annoys me when people say that an influencer is so real and authentic, and it's all because the influencer is being extra vulgar and raunchy.
Spread it open and flick the bean. I'm Joey, I'm proud of the pussy queen.
To me, that just shows lack of discipline and self-respect, not realness. But anyway, again, let me remind you, her account blew up by posting those toddler vlogs about her daughter. So imagine everyone's shock when she so confidently posts a video one day declaring her love for her son.
My boy moms feel me on this, but my son has my heart and my soul. I obviously am obsessed with Stevie Lee. She is just the greatest little girl in the world. But my whole life, I always wanted to be a boy mom. And I remember when I found out I was pregnant with him, and I was just ecstatic. Anyways, the whole point of me making this video is I had to share his preschool photo with you, because when I tell you, I opened up this email and I just hysterically cried. He is just everything.
Yes, you heard that correctly. This is where everyone found out that Avery Woods is one of those toxic boy moms. Because surprise, surprise, it didn't stop there. She would still continuously hint things here and there throughout her content about how she favors her son so much more than her daughter. Or should I say daughters? We'll get to that. And don't get me wrong, I myself have 3 sons and 1 daughter, but I would never claim that I have a different love for my sons than I do for my daughter. It's weird. But although Avery claims that she's a liberal and a feminist, as you'll see later on, she most definitely perpetuates a lot of misogynistic viewpoints, and she's such a pick-me in the presence of another man, even though she's married. So it kind of makes sense why she's so boy crazy, even for her son. And oh my gosh, I almost forgot, because the next part is really important before I show you the clips. Avery Woods is indeed married and doesn't just have a son and a daughter. No. She has 2 extra stepdaughters. Yes, and those stepdaughters are teenagers.
Actually, can I have 5 more of these little blonde bitches?
They're able to access the internet and see their stepmom's behavior online. So long story short, a few months ago, Avery announces that she got a podcast deal with Unwell. Everything that I've read, praise the Lord. Worship Christ with the best of your portions. I know I won't forget all that he's done. For copyright reasons, I couldn't use the original sound, but it's the sound she chose to use in this video. So she's now hosting her podcast called Cheers under Alex Cooper's agency Unwell. Well, conveniently, under that announcement video, she uses the Praise the Lord sound by Kanye. And she goes on to have a few guests on her podcast, all pretty boring. I couldn't sit through any of them. But then she announced that she was going to have Harry Jowsey on. And for once, I was actually going to watch it because I saw him on another podcast. He was talking about how his dad passed away recently and how he's actually interested in religion and maybe finding Jesus.
What do you think about Jesus? What have you you heard about Jesus? What's your perspective of it? I know you mentioned earlier you think there's something out there and you want to learn more, and you said you did spiritual retreats trying to find your way. What do you think about Jesus?
I don't know enough about any of it, to be honest. One of my friends, Hope, she's super religious, and she was kind of telling me about it because I'm just curious. I'm like, how did you start? Because she only converted like a year ago, and I'm like, what do you do? Like, how do you go into it? Her words were, Jesus is like standing there at the door knocking. You just have to open it, and you just have to start those conversations, whether that's like talking to yourself or trying to talk to him or whatever else. So I don't know where he is, or what he looks like, or how he's hanging. Or if he's got any time for me, but I'm very curious to learn about it.
I thought Avery would have done her homework and have prepared some meaningful conversations with Harry.
Are you a religious man?
No.
I didn't think so.
I'm working on it. I got to figure it out though. Apparently he's going to be good for me, so I got to learn about the man above.
But no. I was shocked and appalled, and my jaw was on the floor the whole time. When I saw this grown married woman with kids expose herself as the biggest pick-me I've ever seen, she barely let him speak or dive into anything he got going on, because I kid you not, the whole time she was bombarding him with the most inappropriate, gross things, and I'm gonna break it down for you. She starts off by letting him know,
I've been with the same man for so long that it's just fine, so we're just gonna talk really openly. I like to talk about sex. I like to answer questions about sex. I like to give my mommy MILF advice.
Then she proceeds to get sexual real quick, and we learn some information that I wish I didn't have to learn. Avery so confidently expresses to Harry how she's more of a backdoor kind of girly, and how much she likes it.
Oh yeah, it gets me off like that.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Put on a little cute little plug before, you know, tease him a little bit. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know. Aren't they so cool?
And he was so grossed out by it, it just didn't seem like it was his thing.
Ew.
Ew, you don't like it?
Oh, disgusting.
Are you serious?
Did it once, never again.
So the whole podcast, she would circle back to the anal talk. She just kept trying to convince him that she's just so different and perfect, and that her backdoor nunu doesn't smell. Another typical pick-me comment.
I have so much booty back there that my asshole's covered in a tanning bed.
You gotta stop talking like this.
And then goes on to brag about her titties, of course.
I had natural porn tits, I've got to tell you. Wow. 34 double D, I was packing. Then I breastfed my last baby. That shit was like saggy. I'm just preparing for your future. Just tube socks. They look like they're 7 inches apart, basically blowing out dust. So I got that shit lifted, implants.
What's next? Your vagine?
Don't worry guys, I had a C-section, so everything's pristine down there.
Wow.
You guessed it, she goes on to insult millions of mothers who have given birth naturally by saying that, don't worry about it, Harry, I had a C-section, so my nunu is pristine. This woman was supposedly a nurse at some point, and to perpetuate this disgusting misogynistic narrative that somehow your vagine is not pristine if you had natural birth is actually insane. And let me tell you something, coming from a C-section mama myself, there is absolutely nothing pristine about being cut through 7 layers of tissue. Again, you would think as a nurse, she would know women's bodies and our incredible abilities to go back to normal. Yet she's desperately seeking validation from this man and continues to perpetuate that moms are gross, your body's ruined after having kids. But not hers, she's different. Her body is pristine. Pick me, Harry. But things proceeds to get worse from here. This diabolical woman has the audacity to use the sympathy card. First it was, pick me, Harry. Now it's, feel bad for me, Harry, because look, all these Christian women in my comments leave me the nastiest comments ever. They call me fat and disgusting when I just told you that I'm so perfect.
All my haters have like blessed mama 4 in their bio, and they're like, you're a fat, ugly mom. You're a fucking whore. Your kids are like just fucking bullshit. And I'm like, but then in your bio it's like Psalms 369, blessed mommy of 4.
Yeah, like Jesus is gonna spank you, lady, if you keep it up.
Yeah, literally, he's gonna bend you over and your Jesus is gonna go poo pirate on your ass if you keep up this bullshit.
I hope he does. Jesus,
they deserve it with no lube.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Anyway,
I apologize that you had to listen to that, honestly. This disgraceful behavior is not okay. The only reason she was comfortable saying that is because it's against Christians. Because I guarantee you, if it was about any other religion, she would not be so comfortable speaking this kind of blasphemy. Again, shaming Christian moms, trying to really prove to this man in front of her that it's always the women's fault. It's funny how she didn't mention the disgusting creeps that are in her comments leaving the most horrendous messages. No, it's always the women. Other women is the problem. But to make such a vile joke that doesn't just offend a whole religion, but since when is joking about violent grape funny? She kept pushing it too, thinking she's so cool, while even Harry started getting uncomfortable. Just look at his face. To put Jesus in a grape act is just the bottom of the barrel, low blow. May God have mercy. And to use that praise the Lord sound in your podcast announcement only to turn around and make a SA joke about Jesus is absolutely preposterous. And I don't want to hear you making any excuses for her. I've already seen the TikToks that absolutely baffled me. People trying to defend her, saying that we shouldn't hold her to a Christian standard. It has nothing to do with Christianity or being held to a Christian standard. It's being held to a human standard. The fact that you think you can be so comfortable making a joke like that. I hope that talking about women and moms and topping it off with a violent grape joke is enough to cancel this toxic boy mom for good. It's clear that she never got out of that pick me boy crazy stage in middle school.
I also didn't know what size you are. Obviously small. Duh.
Thank you. Put an X before, okay? Extra small.
Yeah.
No one likes skinny. Like, no one wants a skinny baby. No one wants a skinny animal.
Or go.
Exactly.
Eat up.
Thank God.
She went on to also offend the ugly community, as if there's no way that Harry is not superficial.
What's your type? What's your 10 out of 10?
Actually, I think it's an energy thing, which is kind of crazy.
I don't believe that for a second.
For sure. Yeah.
There's not a chance.
And when he kept reiterating that no, he's been with two, she just seemed so shocked because, good looking people would never get with a two.
Absolutely.
You're not having with a 2 out of 10 with a 10 out of 10 personality.
I've done it.
Really?
But then she ends this trash of an episode with the most pick me question, because as a married woman, she really wanted to know.
I'm married, but hypothetically speaking, would you hook up with me?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Woo! We got that on film.
I got secondhand embarrassment for her husband and teenage daughters from that clip. Just imagine watching your mom saying those things on the internet, or imagine your spouse showcasing this behavior for millions of people to see.
My husband's watching, like, what the fuck, Avery? What's going on?
Yeah.
It makes me as a viewer want to crawl out of my skin for hearing her act this way. So imagine her family being subjected to this episode and everyone at school talking about it and in their immediate spaces. Like, it's embarrassing for those teenage girls.
They are in middle school, they have iPhones, therefore they do have access to social media. Being a teenage girl in middle school is hard enough, let alone when your stepmom has a large social media platform that you're on and people are directly attacking you and you're 13 years old.
That kind of behavior puts an imprint on your family's generation, and it'll definitely impact those kids.
What do people at school think about your mom being an influencer?
We were just in class minding our own business and they were like, hey, I saw your mom on TikTok.
I'm sure her stepdaughters are so embarrassed, and then you have to think that one day when her youngest daughter grows up and finds the clips of her mom,
my son has my heart and my soul.
favoring her brother over her is really gonna mess with her, trust me. This Cheers podcast may have ended Avery's career, so she had to rush to the internet to release one of the worst apologies I have ever seen.
I don't usually do videos like this or address whatever hate is going on in my direction, but this is one of those things where I never ever want to offend people and their beliefs, and so I'm just gonna talk to you. I just turned my camera on.
For one, spoiler alert, she did not address the offensive comments about moms or even the grape joke. Nope, she just talked about the religion part.
I have been very, very open about religion in general. David's father was a pastor, and we've talked very openly on my podcast multiple times about our beliefs.
She goes on to gaslight her audience that all of a sudden this is a comedy podcast, guys. You didn't know?
My podcast is a comedy podcast, and there are jokes that I should not make that cross lines, and I made a joke that crossed a line.
Oh, and it's scripted, and she's sorry that you didn't understand her jokes.
The episode that I did with Harry was scripted. I need to remember that my sarcasm and my comedy is not going to be the same as other people's, and there's certain lines that I shouldn't cross.
That's literally the gist of her apology, that her husband's father is a pastor and she just shouldn't be making those jokes. And then again doubles down and says that she's always been like that.
I'm so used to speaking so freely about certain subjects that I have spoken on for so long that I sometimes forget that my online presence has grown so much more than it was, 5 years ago when I first started talking about stuff like this, that I'm bringing in an audience that might not be familiar with me personal. And so obviously those types of subjects and comments can be very shocking. Whereas, if you've been here for a while, then you kind of know that's how I've always operated.
It's just new people that are shocked about her behavior because they're new to it. Apparently we should know that this is her actual personality. What did you expect? A heartfelt apology? You heard her, she's not sorry. I sure hope all the mommy and Christian viewers unfollow her immediately. And don't worry, she will get her karma, because when you put out that type of energy, it always comes back to bite you in the ass.
To me, Avery Woods gave Desperate and Insecure on that podcast. Like, her remarks that she made about Jesus was her obviously trying to flirt very weirdly. But really what rubbed me the wrong way was her remark about women that have had vaginal births. Her saying that she's had a C-section, so she's not wrecked down there. Because I've had a C-section and I've had a vaginal birth. And just like I know the sky is blue, I know that cookie snap back. It just does. It's a muscle. It just does. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. To me, I think she's deeply insecure about, one, the way she gave birth, her cookie, her marriage. Like, it gave Insecure and Desperate. And honestly, no woman that's had a boob job, nose job, Botox, and filler could ever tell me a damn thing about my body. Because I already know you're insecure about your body. Of course you gotta say some nasty shit about women that have given birth like that, because that's the only thing you can do to feel better about yourself.
I don't know what's up with these cloud goblins like Ash Trevino and now Avery Woods bragging about their new.
You wanna know how it smells? As Santos, he know it smell well.
It's giving insecurity. I'm out of here. Peace.